Whenever we bring a little farm animal into our house, people are always curious, why would you do such a thing? And while you're doing it, how do you even do that? And how is your house not covered in cow poop? So we're going to go into that, all the reasons why, and also if it's something that comes up for you or you're just curious, we'll go into the steps that we do in our house to keep everything tidy and to keep your animal husbandry on point. By the way, my name is Holly and I live on a farm in Tennessee with my menagerie. We have a herd of miniature zebu, we've got miniature donkeys, goats, chickens, ducks, and a whole slew of just random animals all around. We have 3 kids, there's one right over there. We live in a pretty busy house and it's a pretty wonderful life. This video in particular is going to discuss the care of miniature cows in the home, and we can refer to goats and other animals in the house. We've done goats and lambs and things like this. A lot of these care tips are really similar. It doesn't really matter the species. An important thing to remember is that when you're bringing a farm animal inside of your home, this is a very temporary situation. This is not going to be like, oh, I've got this tiny cow running around my house for years, or a tiny horse, or what have you. This is something that it's going to take, at the most a couple of weeks. If you're lucky, it's going to be a much shorter time period than that. But when you do have an animal in your house, even for a day, you do need to have a plan in place or it's going to be really gnarly, really quick. So that's what this video is about. I don't have animals just running wild around my home. And also, you can't house train a cow. It's not possible as far as I know, and if you could house train one, I would have, and I would have put it all over the internet. So they don't enjoy living in a home. They want to live outside. We human beings enjoy living in our house where it's all tidy. Cows aren't into that. They want to be outside frolicking in the grass, and that's where they're most happy. So when you're bringing an animal indoors, know that you're bringing them into an environment that's not ideal for them, but is something that's going to make your life a little bit easier while you're giving them extra care. Reasons why you would bring a little animal into your home. One reason would be, let's say if you're winter calving, this can happen to anyone. Ideally, we don't winter calf, but things happen sometimes. You'll buy a cow and she will calf in the winter and you need to make a plan and fast. A lot of times our cows are born, 12, 14, 16 pounds, and if the weather gets below 20 degrees, your cow is not going to go, oh, let me snuggle up in this hay and under this heat lamp necessarily. In that case, we're going to bring that baby inside overnight and bring it back outside during the day. When you bring that baby inside, you're going to want to have a place where you're not going to just pop them in the bathroom. Trust me on this, you need to be prepared. Another reason why you would bring an animal into your home, let's say, goats, sheep, sometimes you have a weak animal and then you need to really keep an eye on, and it's a drag having to go back out to the barn over and over again if it's something where you're going to want to keep a close watch on. If I'm watching an animal and waiting for it to nurse, I like to keep an eye on it, someone checking on it every 30 minutes at least. In the middle of the night, it's taxing to go out to the barn. I'd much rather come down to my dining room and check on the baby. Let's say that you're rescued a sheep or a cow or a goat, and unbeknownst to you, this mama was pregnant and had a baby. Mama is not in any shape to be nursing a baby. She's got a heavy parasite load and she's just in poor condition. Putting a baby with that mama could actually cause the mom's condition to go down, and we don't want that. So sometimes we'll pull the baby for that. Another scenario, and just like with human beings, there can be moms who aren't the best. Sometimes, and this is not super common, but you'll have a mom that has a baby and she'll be like, I don't even know who that is. I don't want anything to do with that baby. In that case, you know, try as you might, the mom's not accepting the baby. You don't have anyone else you can put the baby with, another mom of the same species. You might want to bring that baby inside because you're going to want to keep a close eye, and you're going to be bottle feeding. When you're bottle feeding, depending on the species, and depending on how well this animal takes the bottle, you're going to be doing it a couple times a day. I believe with little goats, a lot of times we'll do it like every couple of hours. You know, there's protocol for each animal, and we don't really need to get into that in this video. If you have a barn where you can regulate temperature, you have a room where you can keep warm, fantastic. A garage, that would also be a fantastic option. I always had a very old barn, and at this point now we have old mini barns and new mini barns, but they're not going to hold heat in the way that I would like them to. So if we have a weaker animal or a rejected animal in the winter, a lot of times we're going to bring that baby inside of our home. So first of all, you're gonna get a tarp. It doesn't super matter the size. It doesn't have to be a new tarp either. If you're feeling extra sassy, 2 tarps would be super cool, so then you could trade them out. So base layer is a tarp folded in half. You don't want a huge area for your cow. They really don't need that much room, and ideally this is going to be a temporary setup. He's not going to be like running laps in there. You can take him outside for that, hopefully. If you can't, then you can let him run in your house. But this is not a big huge area. This is just an area to keep the baby safe so he's not just like roaming the house. So after that, you're going to put a base layer of a blanket or a quilt. We find stuff like this at thrift stores, and we just kind of have like literally like a pile of blankets, and we call them dog blankets, and we keep them, and then sometimes if they get too nasty, we just throw them away. We don't pay too much for them. And I found this kind of alleviates like issues we've had. Like before, I'd see like, oh, there's like a, you know, old toddler comforter for my teenager that, you know, she definitely is not going to use anymore, and you lay that down, and then apparently like she's still super into the pink unicorn Care Bear comforter, you know. So just get used blankets. It's easier and it's cheaper. And so you're going to lay your blankets down, then you're going to get your dog X pin. I got the one that we're using from Amazon, but we've also gotten them used before from thrift stores. If you can find them used, more power to you, you know. I think the one we had before this, which I think got annihilated in a move, we got for like $5 at a Goodwill. So you get that, and then you're going to want to make sure you have clips. And so the little clips are going to secure your gate. If you don't secure the panels to each other, I can guarantee you that cow is going to nose his way out at some point. If it's a goat, they're going to do it even faster than a cow. So you need to be able to clip it secured, even if you think, oh, they're just laying there. Our 3-legged cow, I used to kind of let her like hang out and not put the clip on the gate, and I found her like nearly like going down the stairs one day. So use your clips. After that, you know, you're going to want to make sure that you have the disinfectant. And so I think like in our house, everyone says the Lysol works better. I like to get kind of hippie with it, and I try to do anything all natural. So I use this stuff, and it smells really nice. But what you're going to do when you go to change your blankets and get ready, because you're going to be doing tons and tons and tons of laundry, you don't want that stuff to sit. So you're taking your blankets, you're washing your blankets, and then you're going to take your tarp outside, hose it off if need be, but you're definitely going to sanitize it even if you're not hosing it off. Hopefully you're catching your mess soon enough and it's not so severe, so you can just disinfect, then lay your new blankets on. Super important to wash your dirty blankets right off the bat. I'm so serious about the laundry thing. Like, I've done like 3 loads of laundry today already, and we have one tiny cow in the house, because it really is important to mind your husbandry and to be as tidy as possible, just kind of as a farmer and as someone who like lives in a house with other people who brings livestock in the house, you know. your family doesn't have to tolerate this crazy behavior. But if you're being really clean and tidy about it, they're probably not going to complain as much because they already know that you're kind of nutty, probably. Or if you're really lucky, they're also kind of nutty. One of the cool things about having cows in your house is, or any animal, is like your kids will just delight in it. Like, it's really neat because like I've seen all of my kids since they were little, like, oh, you know, just love it and have really special bonds with these animals. And now I get to see my youngest daughter, you know, getting excited about seeing her cow in the morning, and so it's really sweet. So when we first have a little calf that needs to come in the house, we get the blankets set up, and usually the kids will just get it started for me. And basically we're just kind of getting him set up and letting him get comfortable before we really start messing with him, because he's had quite an eventful day, usually in this case being born and kind of laying out in the field for a hot second. So the first thing you want to do after he's kind of acclimated a bit is you're going to want to try to stand the baby up if they're not already standing. A lot of times they won't be. With Giuseppe here, he seemed to have maybe a little bit of nerve damage just from being born, and that's not common, but I've seen it before. You can see his little back legs were kind of not agreeing with him, but he really started to get the hang of it. I'm going to say within like 15 minutes he was standing, still pretty unsteady for the first couple of days, but it's super, super cool if you can get him to stand before giving him a bottle. Even if they can't stand, I'm still going to give him the bottle and I'll tuck my knee in underneath, but if they can stand while taking a bottle, they're, you know, pretty much onto a home run. Whenever we have to bottle feed a newborn calf, we use colostrum, and it can't be colostrum supplement, it has to be the colostrum replacer. So basically it's just dried cow's colostrum. This, you know, it's pretty expensive, and I special order it and just keep it on hand. You can hear him right now, but it's got like its consistency similar to like if you've ever formula fed a baby. It's very similar, same stuff, sort of. So what we do is, you know, on the bag it gives instructions for full-size cattle. Since we have miniatures, I really don't even use that. I mix it to a consistency that is similar to the colostrum he would get from his mother, and that's like kind of a little bit thicker than milk, sort of like heavy cream. And so, you know, spoon out, just I do a guesstimate, and I don't want to waste it because since this stuff is pretty expensive, I'll start with, depending on the strength of the calf, I'll mix up like 2 ounces, 4 ounces. I get these lamb nipples. They make bottles for actual baby cows. Since we have the miniature zebu, we get the lamb nipples, and I increase the flow by just cutting it a little bit larger, not too big. As the baby cow gets older, then I will, like, you know, make those little lines bigger, but it's just like a soft rubber nipple. And we use the little lamb's bottles. You don't have to buy these. I buy them just for ease of use, but those little nipples also fit like soda pop bottles, like the 20-ounce soda pop bottles. We don't really drink soda, and I find like if you do it with water bottles, even though they'll fit, like water bottle plastic is so thin, it's just annoying to try to deal with those. So I just do warm water out of the faucet, and we're gonna mix it up. And I use a whisk. If you use a fork, you'll get big clumps. Just the consistency of that stuff really does require a whisk, so I have a little whisk just for mixing the cow colostrum and the cow formula. So you can see how thick this stuff is. And so one tip that I did learn, if it ever comes up for you, these little rubber nipples, if you try to put them on without heating them up, they're so difficult to get on the bottle. So the trick is put them under running hot water for just a second, so you'll be able to get it on the bottle easily. It's a pro baby cow feeding tip for you right there. Perfect. And so try to keep them standing. Even if they can't stand, I will try to elevate them. And I use my 2 fingers and I kind of pry the mouth open a little bit. It seems weird, but just a little bit. And I'll let them have a little taste. And sometimes they go, I'm not into it. Sometimes they take to it. But when we found this guy in the field, went out to go check because he was just laying there. Because I think he has some nerve damage in his legs. He's kind of big. And Effie, who knows me well, just ran away. Now, what I want to see in a mama cow in a big open field taking care of a calf, if the mom knows me, that's fine. I want her to, but she should be cautious around me. It's okay if she doesn't let me grab this baby right away and she's a little mad about it and she huffs and puffs. Or if she charges me, I'm pretty sure that calf is going to be okay. But if she runs away from me, she knows that I'm safe. That's not my favorite. I don't think you could be any cuter, you know? You don't. A thing people don't talk about enough, I think, when they talk about bottle feeding cows is the husbandry involved and the cleanliness involved. You really, really, really want to make sure your bottles are really clean. I never reuse nipples. Like, I would never feed a calf from a nipple and then have another calf follow on that nipple. Every cow gets their own nipple and it's going to be sanitized in between each calf and after each use. Because if you let that milk residue sit in there, it's going to build up and be really gross. So as soon as I get him fed, I'm gonna go clean the bottle and make sure everything's ready to dry. I just keep it on the side of my kitchen sink, and if I'm bottle feeding a little calf, it'll be like that for 4 months. So, you know, but it'll be ready for me and it'll be dry, tidy, ready to go as soon as I have to feed the little baby again. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it's educational to you, and it's a very niche subject matter. Even if you don't learn how to take care of a cow in your house or don't have any plans to take care of a little animal in your house, I hope, you know, it was entertaining anyway. So.